When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that luxuriates as much as it infuriates.
I don't think that's actually true, but it rhymes.
But it rhymes. so back off, Mike.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Gayish.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today we're going to talk about Pap Smears. We're going to talk about Pap Smears.
Yes.
Whose fault is this?
This is my fault.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if you were going to own up to it.
Oh, yes. This was on my, we should probably cover this. I think this is an important topic kind of thing.
Yeah, it is.
But I hope that we will help, and I worry that we won't.
Oh, well.
That's most of episodes, though, so no change.
Nobody's listening.
Okay.
But first.
Okay,
feedback/corrections.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle.
Okay. Mike.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
I'm not exaggerating, every single day received at least one message in some format. Facebook, Discord, Instagram DMs, fucking YouTube comments talking about the bake-off thing. Everybody wanted me to know. So when we talked about baking, Kyle did a segment on the Great British Baking Show, which is known as the Great British Bake Off in the UK, and I was wondering why the fuck.
Yeah, we both were.
And the answer that all of you have let me know and now can stop is that the Pillsbury Company owns the phrase bake off in the United States and Canada, and therefore it can't be marketed as that in those markets.
Yeah. So
that's great. I think owning a phrase like bake off is fucking stupid. Fuck this country. Fuck Canada. Fuck them.
Wow, what happened? What did Canada do?
Pillsbury also owns Bake Off in Canada.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so both countries have apparently stupid laws that I hate.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you. Stop telling me.
Yeah. So a little angry.
Oh, fuck it, Kyle. Here's the news.
Shut your mouth hole, it's time for your ear holes. News.
Okay, news the first. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
I missed the boat completely on the news that Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI and of ChatGPT fame, is a homosexual.
Oh.
Sam Altman is a homosexual. So, I was really surprised then to learn in all of the shit that went on last week with him and being fired, but then rehired at Microsoft, but then not hired because they rehired him back at OpenAI. Did you follow any of that at all? Great. Okay. So, Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI who made ChatGPT, all based in San Francisco. He's a faggot. Great. He was fired by the board on Friday. And then Microsoft on Sunday announced that they were hiring him. And then on Tuesday, also 700 of the employees at OpenAI, and there's less than 800 that work there, signed a letter saying that if you actually get rid of him, we will quit, and then you will be fucked.
Wow.
So the board went back and they said, oh, okay. And on Tuesday said that they were not firing him after all and or rehiring him. Not really sure what the status was from Friday to Tuesday, but it was a Control-Z erase.
Does he have 2 jobs?
He might have 2 jobs.
Oh, that's a lot. You got to work 2 jobs in this country just to make a living.
Oh my God. Yeah. So and now they have a new board. Most of the board left.
Wow.
So yeah. So the details were that the OpenAI board did an internal review and found that he, quote, was not consistently candid in his communications with the board, hindering its ability to exercise its responsibilities, and that they were firing him. And then one of the co-founders, Greg Brockman, immediately resigned to say that was bullshit. Most of the companies signed a letter saying that they were going to quit. and that they would follow him to Microsoft unless he was rehired. They decided to rehire him. I just don't know. It's crazy.
That's quite the week.
Anyway, and he sucks dick.
All of that and sucks dick too. All of that with a smile and sucks dick.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Which, now that I look at his picture, like, he's got some gay face going on.
We should have known all along.
Should have known all along. I bet OpenAI knows. Or I bet ChatGPT knows he's gay. I wonder what his Google search history looks like. News the second. Great. So let's see. The BBC has released its annual 100 Women list. And 100 Women list. And it is a... it recounts, according to the BBC, who like the 100 biggest, baddest women are. They've done it every year since 2013, and it's supposed to represent, quote, voices from across the political spectrum and from all areas of society, explored names around topics that split opinion, and nominated women who have created their own change. But for the first time, a trans human rights activist has been named on that list.
Wow.
Rakshana Kapali, who's from Nepal, and appears on the list alongside other influential and inspiring women, including U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama, human rights lawyer Amal Clooney, Hollywood star America Ferrera. But she apparently is just a badass ass kicker in Nepal, which is not a place that is particularly good for trans people, and moving the needle for trans rights and awareness and visibility.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congrats.
She's currently a third-year law student and is actively involved in the advancement of legal and constitutional rights for LGBTQ plus people in Nepal. And yeah.
It feels like it's missing an adjective. 100 women? Like, shouldn't it be like 100... most influential women, or it just feels like here are 100 women.
Yeah, right. It does make it sound like it could be anybody.
Can you name 100 women?
Yeah.
We did.
Some of them happen to be important.
Yeah.
Get it together, BBC.
Yeah. A little more descriptive or something.
News the last. So a Finnish, as in Finland. Mm-hmm. A Finnish sanitary product manufacturer has launched a tampon aimed at trans men. Vuokaset. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm probably not saying it correctly. I'm not Finnish. In fact, I have a hard time finishing sometimes. It's Vuokaset is the name of the company, and they launched the product during Transgender Awareness Week, which we fucking missed the boat on here at Gayish.
Shit.
We were unaware.
Our internal happy Trans Awareness Week is this week.
Yeah.
We have our own. It's separate.
Yeah.
But just as important.
And their spokesperson is fucking hot as fuck. Yes. Get in my bed. But they launched this new product during Transgender Awareness Week as a means of addressing gender dysphoria trans men and non-binary people feel around menstruation. It is called the Tampon for Men, and it's in a navy blue box. And on one side, it features the words for men. And if you turn the box, the other side says stration. So you can see for men stration. So it's like a joke.
Oh, cute.
And they are also working on an entirely gender neutral product that they hope to launch next year.
Yeah, because once you were talking about for men, then it feels like, do we need the gender to be on it? I mean, I know they're so heavily like women right now that it makes sense, but...
Yeah.
Do we need any of that?
Well, yes, you're super right. And some efforts in the past to de-gender menstruation products have resulted in not decomposing the dysphoria, I guess, around the fact that like trans men menstruate also, and that marketing is not for them and doesn't seem to ever be for them.
Yeah.
And it does create issues. So the brand, in a press release, referenced research that showed that 93% of trans men have experienced menstruation-related gender dysphoria. And in fact, Dakota Robin, who I think is probably the very attractive man that I want to fuck at the top of the page here, said, quote, "When I was young, menstruation felt not only strange, but somehow wrong. Our culture does not really acknowledge the diversity of menstruating individuals. This is definitely a step in the right direction. By changing attitudes and broadening perspectives, we can also remove discrimination against gender minorities." And everything has been fine on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Sure. No one had any opinions and everything was fine.
I'm not going to give that hate the time of day. There is predictably plenty of it out there.
Yeah.
Just fucking goddamn it.
Fucking goddamn it. Agreed.
Just like I don't understand what's so hard.
Yeah.
Like I understand what people are afraid of and that they're freaking out about. I just don't understand what's so hard about basic just fucking facts. There are men whose driver's licenses say man and they menstruate. And that is not up for debate. That's not up for questioning. It's just fucking true. So if you want to stand outside and scream that the sky is green, you look like a crazy person. Fucking stop it.
Yeah. Totally.
And you don't have to like that the world is changing, and you don't have to like. I just can't like. It should not be a controversial statement that some men menstruate because it's just fucking true.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, that's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of people whose skies are a little bit greener today, thank you to the following Patreon members. Calvin.
Are making our sky greener.
For making our sky greener.
Give us your money.
With money. Thank you, Calvin.
Calvin.
And thank you to Kristen Herbster.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Herbster. I don't know if you pronounce the H.
I bet it's Herbster.
Oh, Herbster. Sorry, Kristen. Not sorry. Anyway, if you want to join Patreon, you get bonus episodes, content. You get episodes a day early, ad-free, and you should do it and support us. And if you join for a full year, you will get a 10% discount. So go to patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Yeah. And give us your addresses. I'm going to send out Christmas cards soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go to the desktop version of the website to update your address.
Yep. Great.
Are you ready for Pap Smears?
You want to talk about Pap Smears?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Kyle, why did you want this to be a topic that we talked about?
Because it has been something that I have done.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten an anal Pap smear.
Mm-hmm. Which we're going to talk about it. That's apparently like not super easy to have like permission to do sometimes in some places.
Yeah, yeah. And there's the question of, should I?
Right.
Which I'll go ahead and let you know it's not as an easy answer to the question, should you do it?
Yep.
So I think it's an important gay and bi men's health issue that we should talk about.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. I'm going to talk to you about the history of Pap Smears.
Okay.
That's not a sentence I really ever thought that I would say out loud with my mouth full.
But here we are.
Here we are. Okay, Kyle.
Okay.
Which of these is true? Pap smears are named PAP because PAP is an acronym for the governmental agency that commissioned its development. It's short for the last name of the dude who invented it, or is the name of the research hospital in which it was invented.
Oh, no. I know the answer because I stumbled upon it.
Well, fine.
Shit. Should I pretend? It's the government agency. It's the...
Well, no, now I want you to try to say the dude's name. It is the dude's name.
It's the dude's name.
It is short for the dude's name.
Yeah.
Do you know what his full name was?
Papsalum.
You were incredibly Kyle close. Yeah.
Yeah, even if I was looking at his name, that's the best I could do, probably.
I don't know what I thought PAP stood for all of these years. This legit was like I was hit in the face with a dick. I was gobsmacked. I was cocksmacked when I read this. PAP is just short for Papa Nicolaou, who's the Greek doctor that invented the PAP test or PAP smear.
This past Thanksgiving, you made some papalucamayo. It was delicious.
You know, the secret is you got to make a roux of flour and butter before you put the other ingredients in, and that's how you get really good Papa Nicolaou. So a Pap smear. What is a Pap smear?
Pap
in the cervical sense.
Oh, where they scrape your cervix to get cells to test it for signs of cancer.
All of that is pretty close. Yeah. So
Pretty close. I don't get 100% on my test.
yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're looking for potentially precancerous or cancerous lesions on the cervix, and abnormal findings are then, they go the next step. Like if they see any sort of wackiness with the cells that they collect, then they do more testing to like confirm what's going on. But this guy Giorgio Papanicolaou invented it in the 1920s, and so he the whole process that he came up with was just you're right about the scrapey part, but the smear part really is you take those cells and you smear them on a slide, and then you look under a microscope at them, and then you can see based on the shape of the cells and color, when you stain them, whether there's any sort of abnormality involved in the cells. Now, what I think is really super interesting about this cat, Dr. Papanicolaou,
I can't every time.
it is so he studied medicine in Greece and Germany and moved in 1913 to the United States, and he was a faculty member at Cornell, and he made his first publication of the thing that you could detect cancer or precancer by doing this. He published that in 1928, and basically nobody listened. And one of the thoughts there is that maybe it's because he didn't speak English, that there's a whole bunch of just racism and or xenophobia built into the medical industrial complex, that it's mostly white dudes that mostly speak English, and some really good ideas by people of color, people who aren't men, people who don't speak English. That there's a whole bunch of really good ideas that are getting suppressed by this lab coat ceiling or whatever.
Yeah, America.
But by the 1940s, it was recognized that this Papanicolaou guy is onto something. But what the unsung hero of the whole thing is his wife.
Oh,
Mary. So her
Mary
name,
Papanicolaou.
Yep, Andromache was her Machi and Andromache. And anyway, Mary. She went by Mary.
Okay, great.
Which I really appreciate.
Yes.
So Mary Papanicolaou. The reason she's the unsung hero is she voluntarily for 21 years let him do a daily pap smear on her. Every single day, she would climb up onto that exam bed and let him scrape her cervix and smear it on a slide, because the medicine in the 20s being what it is, couldn't find any other people to help test it. So he initially had done all the testing of this on guinea pigs, literal guinea pigs. His guinea pigs for this were guinea pigs. And he was doing this with guinea pig vaginal discharge, and discovered that he could see abnormalities in the cells that he'd taken from these guinea pigs, and is like, I need human guinea pigs. And nobody raised their hand.
Yeah.
And so, Mary, get up there, girl.
Daily, though?
Daily.
But daily, though?
Daily for 21 years. And she said in interviews later that was one of the reasons that she decided not to have children, because it had not been studied on pregnant women before, and it would have disrupted the research for the one big candidate, one big data point to go away because of pregnancy.
Wow.
Also, I thought this was hilarious. They were desperate for additional subjects, so Mary Papanicolaou had a party for a bunch of female friends and was like, I want you all to know why I've gathered you here today.
Oh, no. This is you're either getting converted to a cult or
yes,
someone wants to pap your smear.
Yep. Yeah. And basically said to all of these friends, hey, enjoy that champagne. And I have an idea. Could I maybe just take a peek at your cervix?
Just a peeksies.
But it turned out that one of the women in that party that then agreed to have her cervix sampled was later diagnosed with cervical cancer and became a big a data point, an important sort of confirmation of the methodology.
Wow.
And but it was all because of her. And then, like in typical fashion, he got all the credit for it, even though like it was her cervix.
Right.
It was her friends' cervixes.
And they were the ones that were actually donating their bodies to be experimented on, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, talk about dedication.
Yeah.
I don't care about anybody that much that I would. But it turns out that Pap smears are very, very, very good at detecting precancer or cancerous lesions that are caused by the human papilloma virus, HPV. And I think, like I said, I'm a little worried that this turns into the HPV genital warts episode, but I think we have to. That's what Pap smears are looking for. And HPV is super common. Basically, anybody who's ever had like thoughts about having sex has had HPV of some kind. But there's lots and lots of different kinds, and they don't all cause cancer, but enough of them do. They either cause cancer or warts, and a couple of them cause both. And it's particularly dangerous for women. It can give them uterine cancer, cervical cancer, cancer of the vagina, etc. And that's how it got started. All of this is leading to it also. HPV also does things to the butthole. Mm-hmm. And turns out men have those too.
Yep. I feel like we've come to find out that anywhere penises go could maybe get cancer.
Yeah. Which, when you say I want to get wrecked, that's really not what you mean.
No. Absolutely not. Oh no.
Before I move on to anal paps, so cervical Pap smears, Papa Nicolaou was not the only person who made this discovery, but he was the first one to publish it and get noticed for it. It was independently discovered by some other people, and in Romania, for instance, it's called the method Babs Papa Nicolaou because they give both him and this other doctor named Aurel Babs, they get co-credit. But the method Babs Papa Nicolaou, that's way harder to say. Just say Pap smear.
Yeah.
Romanians.
Yeah. No, they want a country pride.
Is he Romanian?
Oh.
Yeah, he's Romanian.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a good assumption.
Yes.
Turns out it's correct. And his methodology was slightly different because it used like a platinum loop to gather them instead of a cotton swab, which is what a Pap smear uses. Anyway, doesn't matter. Oh, I lied. I have another thing to say that I forgot to say, which is that Papa Nicolaou was nominated for a Nobel Prize 5 times, but never won.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, to be nominated is an honor.
Is that true?
I mean, I will never be nominated for a Nobel Prize, and no one listening to this will either. What
if I can nominate you, and then you can say you were nominated?
Yeah, like if I just write a letter in and be like, "Dear Nobels,"
I would like to be considered.
And then does that count as a nomination?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll nominate you if you nominate me.
Great.
Okay. Fun.
Okay. Buttholes. So basically, human papillomavirus, HPV, can cause anal cancer also. And like you just said, anywhere penises go, you can get cancer. And this is one of the reasons why. And penises go in buttholes, especially.
Yeah, they do.
Especially in our community. But straight people too.
Yeah.
But it's basically the same thing. Like collect cells using a brush or a rod out of the butthole region, smear it onto a glass slide, and look at it under the microscope. And then if there's any wackiness, then you do further testing and figure it out. Now, it turns out that anal Pap smears are not as good as cervical Pap smears are, that there are false negatives, and it's not as good as cervical Pap smears at like, which maybe that's part of what you'll talk about is like who should get one. I don't know.
Yeah, I will.
But yeah, a lot of the anal Pap smear stuff is that that a lot of doctors don't know about them. The doctors that do know about them don't want to do them. There's a lot of pressure from insurance companies that question the cost effectiveness of doing them. There's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's I'll stop there. I guess that's it.
Okay.
That's the Papanicolaou test.
That's a great place for me to pick up because
Great.
I'm going to talk about should you get a Pap smear?
Yes.
Anal Pap smear. That's at first I was on the like absolutely yes. Everyone should. I might have said that on the show when I first learned about them and had a doctor that said yes, like gay men should be getting them. So what I'm going to tell you, what?
Well, okay. I wonder if this is in the category though of like, is there any harm? You know, like if you get one and you didn't need one, then so what, right? Like, is it just because it's a drag on resources or whatever? It's like PrEP. I said we say all the time everybody should be on PrEP, but what if you're not? What if you're not taking it?
Yeah.
If you're gonna take it, take it. That's
yeah.
But like,
yeah.
if you're not taking it, don't take it. It's like, is the reverse also true?
Well, I mean, it can also do things to your like kidneys and stuff. So if you like have
PrEP.
PrEP.
Pap
Oh
smears.
no, yeah, it gets
How far do they stick that brush up there?
deep up there. Pap me harder, daddy.
Oh no.
Okay, yeah. So not everyone should be taking PrEP if you're not, because of the potential effects to some of your organs. But okay, back to Pap smears. Most of this information is from a 2019 Slate article called "Should Gay Men Be Getting Anal Pap Smears" by Daniel Summers. So, why get one? As a result of, you talked about cervical Pap smears. As a result of Pap smears and routine screening and early treatment, cervical cancer was once the leading cause of death among women in childbearing age, but now ranks 14th in cancer frequency.
Oh, wow.
So it's played a big role in reducing the amount of cervical cancer. So the same then could be true. Anal cancer is rare in the general population, but the risk for men with a history of anal intercourse can be more than 30 times as great as the general population.
Thanks, penises.
Thanks, penises. Dun, 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 penis. Dr. Alfred Torrance, a site medical director for Howard Brown Health. This is where we pull in the experts.
Great.
Because these are doctors. I'll tell you what doctors say about it.
Okay.
Dr. Torrance, site medical director for Howard Brown Health, which serves LGBTQ patients at numerous locations throughout Chicago, says, quote, routine screening is controversial and there are no universally accepted guidelines. Howard Brown Health has made the decision to screen certain subgroups of patients because we believe that early detection of anal cancer or precancerous areas will potentially circumvent greater morbidity and mortality associated with advanced anal cancer.
Okay.
So
is that subset just the sluts, the bottoms?
That's a great question. Who
Power
are those
bottoms?
people? Yeah. Who are those people? We'll get to that.
All right.
Another doctor, Dr. Stephen Abbott, who is a physician
Hey, Abbott.
I don't know what that is.
Of course you don't. It's fine. Go
Is
ahead.
that the Beatles? Didn't they walk down that road?
Yeah, Abbott Road. Yeah.
He's a physician specializing in infectious disease at Whitman Walker Health, which offers comprehensive health and wellness services to LGBTQ people in DC. Says, quote, I would definitely recommend it for any man who has sex with men or any woman, cis or trans, who has HIV. We know for sure that the risk of developing cancer when HIV positive, regardless of whether you're men have sex with man, cis or trans woman, is high enough that you should at least get an anal pap once a year.
Ooh.
So that's one person's recommendation.
Get it annually.
Annually anal. But the first doctor says that they don't screen patients with HIV under 30 because it doesn't tend to progress before that age.
HIV?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dr. Abbott is like, hey, if you're HIV positive, regardless of who you are, you should get it. But the other doctor's like, well, but not if you're under 30. Because it doesn't tend to progress until that age, and the anal cancer doesn't tend to progress until that age.
Got it. Yeah.
And the recommended follow-up testing every 6 months can generate anxiety and what he called butt fatigue.
Same girl.
And okay, this is actually what happened to me. I got an anal Pap smear. I then was like, oh, I'm in camp. I need to get this once a year. So then I got it next year.
Was your butt already kind of tired?
My butt's, it works hard. It works hard
For the money. Great.
But what came back was a result that was like, there is the potential for these cells to maybe cause cancer, and we're unsure.
Oh, yeah.
So then it was like, oh, you need to get a follow-up Pap smear. And one doctor said I should do it. I happened to go into the office when another doctor was there, and we talked about this. And he said, I don't recommend anal Pap smears because people get trapped in this cycle of there's this undetermined outcome that maybe could lead to cancer, like a low risk, but still some risk thing that then he was like, then people get in this trap of getting Pap smears all the time when they really don't need them. So I understand this butt fatigue fear.
Well, and so much anxiety, right? Like they're saying like there's a ticking time bomb in your asshole, but it might just be a stopwatch, like Christopher Walken in Pulp Fiction.
Sure. It also is like, it's very confusing. I still don't know. I can't tell you what my result was other than that kind of mumbo jumbo that I told to you. I don't know what the medical result was because it's so confusing on like what the actual,
maybe probably bad.
Yeah, it might
someday.
It's like low grade possibility that this could turn into cancer.
Yeah.
Is basically what the result was, which is like, I don't know. Anyway, both of these doctors that I mentioned recommended Pap smears for Pap screens. I don't know why I wrote a different word here.
It's the same.
For HIV negative men who have sex with men starting at age 40.
Great. Okay.
One recommended it just for those who bottom. The other didn't make a distinction because he said, quote, HPV is like glitter. It goes everywhere.
Oh my God. I hate that.
I know, right?
I hate that.
That's not a metaphor that we want in our heads, but it is there now.
Yeah. Don't trans the fish.
Don't trans your butt. Wikipedia says, so like there are lots of different recommendations. Wikipedia says some individuals recommend that all men and women who have anal sex should have an anal Pap smear performed regularly. Some recommend it for all men who have sex with men, or for all individuals with HIV and anal warts, or for all individuals with a history of anal warts. So like there's no consensus on this. It is controversial. A couple of the reasons it's controversial. According to New York proctologist Dr. Evan Goldstein, the tests are prone to false positives, which you actually said they're also prone to false negatives when you were talking about it.
Yep.
But apparently they're also prone to false positives. Things like bottoming the night before or douching before an appointment can alter your results. And as a result of false positives, you can undergo these really rigorous treatments that you may not actually need. Another reason it's controversial is because the CDC has yet to approve the test, which causes some of the issues you mentioned with like insurance and getting it approved and everything. What we do know is that there needs to be more awareness among those who deliver care to the LGBTQ community. I know that's important. People need to be thinking about this, but we also need people to like do enough research to come up with a consensus. Like there needs to be a more definitive recommendation, I think, because I just have not found one.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's just the data's not there, but then there's like a chicken and egg problem of for the data to be there, we need to be doing it. So what do you do?
Yeah.
But like, it reminds me of like Dr. Fauci and the COVID stuff about like coming out and saying like everybody should wear a mask. And then they were like, you should only wear a mask for 10 days or I forget, or the quarantine period was the thing. And every time he'd change his mind, everybody on the right would be like, fucking Fauci doesn't know what he's talking about. He keeps changing his bullshit. It's because the data.
Yeah.
It like, right? Like, when a scientist changes their mind, it's because they're smarter, not because they're stupid.
Yes. They got more data that now helps inform or change their opinion on what the thing is.
Yeah. But going back to the whole thing about like wherever the dicks go, cancer follows. Like that's the place that dicks go. So like my hunch is that if we had the data, the guidance would be there, and we'd be able to say, yes, you absolutely should. If you're taking it in the ass, you should get a Pap smear once a year, once every 5 years, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. That
there should be definitive guidance. And then when the results come back, we should have really clear language about what was found and what it means. And maybe it's just all in its infancy or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, I think the groups that kept on coming up are people over 40, people who take it, people with HIV, people with anal warts. These are the categories of people that should be thinking about this. And again, like talk to your doctor, because you shouldn't take medical advice from us anyway, much less on this topic where there is no definitive like CDC guidelines or anything.
Yeah. Shit.
I know.
I mean, that happens out of your butt too, but like
it goes the other way. Can I tell you about some data?
Yes, please do. I hope you do.
Okay.
Let's do it. Before you do.
Sure.
No. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll get to personal stuff later.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have data on men's willingness to get Pap smears.
I do wonder if you need to call it something else.
Oh.
Like if it's like people think Pap smear means cervical Pap smear, they think it means women or cisgendered women, and that if you get one in your butt, it makes you a lady or something.
No.
I could see that being I just do whatever my doctor says and I don't give a fuck. So like I don't have hangups about shit like that, but I wonder if there's some like toxic feelings about calling it a Pap smear.
Like I'm going to get a man smear.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to get a dude scrape or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, don't call it a poop smear. That would be like pretty.
No. This is gay and bisexual men's willingness to receive anal testing. What was his name?
Papa Nicolao?
Yeah, Papa Nicolao testing by Allison C. Reed, Paul L. Reddier, Jennifer S. Smith, Joel M. Palowski, and Noel T. Brewer. This came out in 2010 in the American Journal of Public Health. Previous studies found low uptake on anal cancer screenings and low intentions to take up anal cancer screenings, but it didn't examine why that is. Okay. So this one's goals was to figure out why and what's going on. So they surveyed 306 gay and bisexual men.
Great.
So we get to know, just as a result of this, how many gay and bi men had even heard of anal Pap smears. That was one of the things they asked them. What percentage of gay and bi men had heard of anal Pap smears?
17.
23. Oh, you were pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. 23.
But wrong.
But wrong. Close, but wrong.
Gayish.
14% reported having received one.
Okay. Well, that's a big chunk of those who knew about it.
Yep. Yeah. It's a lot of the ones that knew about it, presumably. Apparently, 5 of the men, this is, of course, a small number, but it's just interesting. 5 men tried but couldn't because either their doctor didn't offer it, the doctor said they didn't need it, or the doctor said the cost was too high to justify it.
Wow.
Which those are some of the issues that you mentioned when talking about it.
Yeah.
So I would presume, while 5 is a small number, the more awareness there is around it, the more people that try to do this, more people are going to run into those kinds of issues if they try to get it.
Yep.
So the willingness to get the test, actually 83% were willing to get an anal Pap smear if the test were free.
Sure.
So
I'd do just about anything if it's free.
Well, I don't, but that seems to indicate that the name doesn't need to change or anything. There isn't like resistance to just the concept of getting an anal Pap smear. Most people were down for it. So that's a good sign. That says that there are other barriers, given only 14% had reported even getting one. Only 31% were willing to get it if it costs $150. So
that surprises me.
Oh yeah, why?
I would think it would be lower. $150, like that's like you can have a whole weekend on that much money, right?
Well, for me it's one night, but different strokes. Yeah. So the number goes down significantly if the cost is at $150. So cost is a major driver of whether gay and bi men would be willing to get an anal pap smear. Other most common reasons not to get one besides cost were not knowing about the test, of course. Embarrassment about requesting the test.
Yeah.
That's a uncomfortable conversation to have with your doctor.
Yeah, you got to look your doctor right in the face and say, "Look, I take it in the ass. We need to do something about that."
And potentially educating your doctor on this being even something that they should consider.
Yeah.
Like this may be new information to them that gay and bi men should even think about getting an anal pap smear.
Yep.
So you may have to teach your doctor something, which is you're already, saying, "Hey, I take dick.
Yeah.
Now here's how to treat me for it."
Yeah. Especially when doctors, I think, don't really like learning new things, or having their patients tell them that they need to know more. I imagine, if a doctor didn't know this and you walk in and say, "Do I need an anal pap smear?" they would be like, "No, I've never heard of that." And then you need to be like, "You need to go do your research and then come back to me." And that's a difficult thing to try to tell a doctor. Yeah. Yeah.
Other reasons, they were worried about the test being inaccurate. And for some, they were worried that the test would be recorded in their medical information.
Oh.
Which
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because,
pre-existing condition stuff, or like when the Gilead happens from Handmaid's Tale, they're going to look up all of the records to find all the faggots.
That's what I was thinking. Like it proves I'm gay on my permanent record.
My permanent record at my doctor's office says very prominently "gay and divorced." I'm like, okay, that's a lot of personal information, Sharon.
I think when I went to a gay doctor, there was something that he changed the language of. It said something like high risk homosexual behavior or something. And I think he was like, I'm gonna change the language on this a little bit. And I was like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
That's probably, some past doctor was probably just taking quick notes or I don't know, something. And I do have high risk homosexual behavior.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
It's like gay risky business. But that's the Gayda.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have it's not Gayda, but talking about HPV, have you taken Gardasil? Have you had the HPV vaccines?
Yes, yeah. The 3 vaccines, yeah.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think one of them is just for cervical cancer. But
there's a round of 3 that at the time it was like you had to start before you were the age of like 25 or something, and I just barely made the cutoff. So I'm pretty sure I got 3 of them.
Yeah, well, it's a series of 3. Okay. Yeah, if that's what you mean.
Yes,
there's also multiple vaccines. There's Gardasil 9, and then there's the third one that I don't remember the name of. That is let me look it up.
Okay, no, whatever I got was a series of 3.
Cervarix is the third one. And it's
a little okay,
but talking about that, yes, you're absolutely right that when Gardasil was first introduced, it was only for women who were 25 years old or younger. So if you were 26, no.
Yeah.
And then and this was in I was already like pushing 30 or something when that happened. But I was very surprised when just a few years ago, my primary care physician was like, "Oh no, you can get them all the way up to men can get them, and you can get it all the way up to 45 now." Mm-hmm. So in 2018, the FDA released new guidance that said that men and women up to age 45 should get HPV vaccines. And I was luckily under 45 at that time and got the series of 3 HPV vaccines, Gardasil. And I just want people to know that, because I very much had it in my head like, oh, I'm over 25. I missed that boat. I guess I'm just going to get cancer or whatever.
Yeah.
That's no longer the case. And in case it's fresh information, if up to age 45, you can go and get them and should ask your doctor for that. So anyway, if you had it in your head that you were too old, you might not be.
And isn't that another thing you may have to teach your doctor about, like that gay men might need the HPV vaccine? 'Cause
Absolutely,
it's usually
yeah.
for women.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have to say, because I take it in the ass.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just it's up to age 45 now. So at least in the United States,
Okay.
Other countries have their own guidance. The NSA in the UK, I think, is like 44, 45, something like that.
It's so interesting, like how there's a cutoff for those things. Like after a certain year, it just doesn't work on you. I don't know. It's like weird how those work.
Yeah, I think this is another example, though, of the data has to be there. Like the reason that they raised the age to 45 is because they studied it in people up to 45 and
Right.
discovered that it indeed made a difference. So if we studied it for gay dudes taking it in the ass up to age 100 and it showed that it was still helpful, then maybe they would revise the guidance and say everyone should get it.
Yeah.
But they haven't studied it, so they can't approve it for that.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, that makes logical sense what you're saying, but
It seems unfair and stupid.
yeah, it does seem unfair for those over 45.
So for the Patreon segment, I'm going to go over some stuff. I've been obsessed with ChatGPT lately, and I had a conversation with ChatGPT about Pap Smears, and we're going to talk about some Pap Smear analogies.
Okay. I'm curious to know what that means.
Yeah. But before we do that, I guess we have to talk about the personal stuff.
Yeah. Have
Like-
you gotten a Pap smear?
Well, okay. If I don't just like ramp up and say it, I don't know if I will. I've had anal warts before.
Okay.
And that like is a reality that I live with, and then very much thought, well, no, it was true. Sorry. I couldn't get the vaccine because I was over 25. But so from when all of that was going down, which was right when my ex and I started dating, so like 2009, 2010 is when I was dealing with that. So this is in the period of like Gardasil was out and people were taking it, but you couldn't if you were over 25, and I was until they revised it in 2018 or whatever. But having to deal with like, I don't know, man, like you just feel gross and dirty and like you've done something wrong, and maybe I have cancer or whatever. Now, luckily, most of the strains of HPV that cause warts don't cause cancer. There are some, but most of it is like it's almost like warts mean you don't have cancer in a way.
Oh, interesting.
But not how I took it at the time. But then, yeah. Since then, I have every few years gotten an anal pap just to make sure that situation remains non-cancerous. And so it's interesting because I sort of feel like I did something wrong or something. And it's not unpleasant. It doesn't hurt. Getting one isn't painful at all. It's just kind of embarrassing, and there's a lot of like weird shame things that can happen.
I got something else then, because the second time I got it, I was there, like, it was not, all the things that I'm reading are just like, it's just like a swipe of a thing and then you're done. It's even easier than the cervical one. Like, it was painful. What I did hurt. It felt like I was there for 15 minutes. I probably wasn't, but like, it felt like I was laying on my side forever while he like scraped or took samples or whatever of like different areas.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what I got. It does not align with anything that I've read about it. But when I think of an anal pap smear, I think of a really painful, like I almost tapped out. I almost had like to say to the doctor, stop, I need to stop doing this now. This hurts too much.
I wonder if it was a biopsy. Like, I wonder if you had a lesion of some kind and they were testing it for cancer.
They might have been biopsying, like lesions that they saw.
The other potential is I had like when I had my wart situation, had them frozen off, which is not a fun thing in your asshole. Had them burned off, which is not a fun thing in your asshole. Had them acidated off, which is not a fun thing in your butthole. Had surgery multiple times. Like, it was fucking awful. And a lot of those hurt like hell. So like I'm I think it's likely that wasn't a Pap smear, Kyle.
Yeah.
Like probably removing some tissue, more than just to get a smear going.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder what the thing is. Because I went in for a Pap smear. I know that for sure, because that's what was down in the book. That's what the plan was. So I wonder if, he did something more. He must have done something more, because it is not as simple and easy and pain-free as everything I read about it said.
Or maybe it was butt fatigue. Maybe you have a really, really sensitive butt.
No, I doubt. Well, I don't know. No, it was different than what I read. It was for sure different. I don't know what I got. It sucked. It was horrible. I hated it.
Okay. Would not recommend.
Would not recommend getting your butt scraped out.
You heard it here first, folks. I mean, do what your doctor says, but
do what your doctor says. Yeah.
That sounds really awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks. I don't know.
Does everybody have problems with their butt and we just don't talk about them?
Boy, I don't know. I guess so. We've both talked about butt problems that we've had throughout the course of this show.
Yeah.
And so maybe I think
100% of Gayish hosts have butt problems.
Maybe we do, but there's some, I feel like some of my sluttier friends just, it seems like their life is just easy. They douche by squirting a couple times. They lube up, they take dick, and then they skip down the street merrily all the live long day, all the way home. It feels like other people have it easier. Yeah. And maybe
we just need to sing and skip more.
Maybe we need to sing and skip more. Not too long ago, I was walking down the street at night, walking Reynolds, and I was like, I want to skip. And I skipped a little bit.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did anybody see you?
I don't know. I turned around afterwards to look around, and then there was someone in the far distance, but I don't know if they saw me.
That's great. Yeah. I hope you brought joy to someone.
I hope I brought joy to me. Wait. But yeah, I do wonder if I definitely think more people than talk about it have butt issues. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the question is, do those friends that I think of that are just super slutty and bottom all the time, just is their butt life just super happy and I just didn't get that lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's just an association that I'm making, I guess. I remember being really, really angry, resenting my ex for not struggling with it. What I mean is, HPV is supposed to be crazy communicable. Why do I have these super difficult to get rid of warts and he doesn't? We're both verse, both giving it and taking it in our relationship. Yeah. Why was I the one that had this cross to bear and he got to skip and sing down the sidewalk?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Interesting. You've mentioned multiple times now the shame that you feel at, or anger and shame, some of these kinds of.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I don't know. Just surgery.
Yeah, it does suck to have to be the one that it impacts when we know that HPV is like glitter and so many people have it. It sucks to be the one that gets one of the strains that causes anal warts. That sucks.
Yeah, for sure. But part of my point was not to bring up anger and shame again, but was just to say that there's clearly something different about my body and his body that mine struggled and his didn't. And maybe that's age. Maybe that's the way our immune systems work. Maybe that's different levels of stress or anxiety or whatever the factors are. It just was true. Mine is different than his. So maybe yours is just different.
Yeah.
Also, and we're both in this struggle camp or something.
Yeah. Just certain things are a little bit harder.
Yeah. So to answer the question of are there, I do think that there are more butt problems out there in the universe than get talked about.
Yeah, for sure.
And there might just be people who can just fuck all night, every night, and never have these issues. They just have like butts of steel.
I was not born with a butt of steel.
No.
I was born with a delicate little flower that needs to be pampered and taken care of.
Oh, you have a butt tulip.
Oh, a rosebud, if you
Rosebud,
will.
Oh God. Do you have any plans to get another Pap smear then? Like if we could just determine that you didn't actually have one, that you went in for one and got something else.
I got something. I think I would maybe like every few years until, well, I'm in a few years, I'm going to be 40. So then maybe from then on, I start getting them annually.
Yep.
I'm getting new. This is not about like whether I would actually get a Pap smear or not. It's just like I'm getting new insurance, and with a new job, I have to like space out my doctor's visits, so I'm not doing a ton of doctor's visits right away. Like there are other things that are getting in the way that are not. Even if I wanted to, in a perfect world, get a Pap smear, I don't know who my doctor is going to be in, 2 weeks, much less if they're going to. If they're going to have advice about this or what they're going to say. So I don't know. I would be open to it. And it is almost reassuring knowing that what I got isn't like that Pap smears are way easier than whatever it is I got. And maybe I would see a different doctor when I got it to just give me the basic, not the supercharged one.
Can I have the entry level Pap smear?
Can I just have the regular one? Can I just have the run of the mill Pap smear? What's your plan for Pap smears?
I mean, as long as I'm with the doctor that I'm with and I love him, even though he's straight, I forgive him for that. I'm on the every 3 years train now, which is fine. I go the other thing is I get a swab put up my ass twice a year anyway for prep. My particular doctor, I don't know what the rules are, what the actual requirements are, but the way that he runs his office, I go in quarterly for tests, and every other time I visit, I get an anal swab. And it's important that everybody knows, just because you had a swab up your ass does not mean it was a Pap smear. They're looking for gonorrhea, chlamydia, other STIs when they do that anal swab.
Yeah.
It is not a Pap smear.
Yep, absolutely.
And but I do get a Pap smear as part of that whole thing, but just on the every 3 years train. So I doubt that I would even really know the difference, except I'd probably get swabbed twice instead of just once, and that would be my indicator.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, I mean, whoever wants to do it and pay for it, you can put whatever you want to in me.
You heard it here. Join Patreon, everybody. Patreon.com/Gayish podcast. Yeah. And your doctor seems to be knowledgeable and down.
Seems to be knowledgeable and down.
That's good.
And in fact, he's the type of doctor that makes it really easy to say, "Hey doc, I heard this or that or the other." I've had him say to me before, "Oh, I haven't heard that, but let's look it up." And he'll sit there on his computer in the room with me and check the places that he checks in Doctorland for that. And then we'll be like, "Oh, I see why you heard that or thought that, but here's why it's more complicated than that." Or he'll say "Oh yeah, you're right. You should." Especially with all the travel. Every time I'm going to Ecuador. What should I know? What should I do? And he always is just well, I don't know every country in the world. Let's just look it up. And he's here's the guidance on all of this, and does that for me. So he's super great. My doctor's awesome.
That's great.
Go see Dr. McFadden at Swedish South Lake Union. Everybody.
Yep.
Did we do it?
I think so.
Some more to talk about?
I mean, I wish there was, we can't solve this. I wish there was more definitive advice that we could give to people.
Don't treat HPV strains like Pokemon, everybody.
And at least at a minimum, what I'm hoping this episode does is make people aware that it's something to consider.
Yep.
That's, I think, the most we can do. And then everyone has to kind of take it from there and decide what's right for them and talk to their doctor and all that shit.
Yeah. Talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Talk to your doctor. Know that it can be a problem if you put dicks up there, that you should make sure that the dicks aren't giving you cancer.
Yeah.
And talk to your doctor.
And potentially even if you're not taking dicks up there, because some people recommend it, even if you're not taken it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows who should get this? Hopefully your doctor does. And if you have a doctor that you don't feel comfortable talking to about this or is not receptive to this, like that's a sign if you are able to get a different doctor.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you deserve someone who you're able to say, I have receptive anal sex and we need to talk about Pap smears. Like you should be able to say that to your doctor and it should not be weird.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it can be a little weird.
It's going to be, it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable thing to say to anyone, but yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
I have a whole bunch of Q-tips. Should we take a break?
Pap that smear.
Yeah, let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, hey. I forgot what I was going to say.
Were you going to talk about the Dickbag Fuckface Asshole Awards?
Yes. Okay. The Dickbag Fuckface Asshole Awards. Voting is going on now.
Yeah.
In our Facebook group. So it's facebook.com/groups/Gayish podcast. Go and vote for your favorite Dickbag Fuckface Asshole for 2023 so that we can send them an award.
First annual.
The first annual. I'm super excited about this. Local gay bar review.
Ooh.
Yeah, I forgot I was going to do this, so I don't know which one I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Let's see. I wanted to talk to you about the Pegasus in San Antonio, Texas. It's a big clusterfuck of different bars, basically, like mashed together. It's like a whole complex.
Huh.
So you feel like you're at like several different bars. Like you go through a doorway and suddenly like there's a slightly different vibe. Like, and there's like dancing over in this one, and there's like just a big old bar in this one. There's karaoke in this one, like stuff like that. And then being in San Antonio, it was like more diverse. It was not just a sea of white people. San Antonio is like a crazy diverse city, and that was really awesome to see.
Yeah.
It was crowded and sort of awkward. I was there with a bunch of gay fraternity brothers. But it was moderately priced, which that surprised me for Texas. I figured it would be cheaper. I don't know. Anyway, 3 dildos.
3 dildos.
Yeah.
Adequate.
Speaking of adequate, it's actually not. We need to redo our website. Our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on socials, including Blue Sky. We have tens of followers on Blue Sky. Be one of the next ones. But we are on social media at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, especially if it's your gayest and straightest. Thank you. We love them. It's 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. And oh my God, Joe and Dallas, thank you for all of those hot sauces. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of them between Thanksgiving and our Dungeons and Dragons retreat. Like they're great.
Yeah, they were a perfect gift.
We're ready for Gayest and Straightest?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll go first.
Okay, great. Do it.
So my gayest is we were doing a like little quiz game show thing with friends, and one of the questions, I got 2 questions. I got more than 2 questions right, but 2 of the questions I got right. One was about what French tip nails are, and then right after that, I got a question right about a musical.
Oh,
so I felt
gay.
pretty gay.
Gay.
Yep. Straightest, I would say, is Thanksgiving, eating a bunch of food, because gays don't eat.
Yeah, that's true.
I ate till I was stuffed. Thanks for the Thanksgiving, Mike. It was delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice.
Yeah.
Ma Johnson was here.
Yeah.
Boyfriend was here. Another guy that's a friend of ours that's like a orphan was here.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay, well, so the gayest thing about me this week is just being all domestic. My boyfriend and I cooked dinner, and it was like, felt like a married couple. The way we were like flitting around the kitchen and hosting and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went over really well.
Yeah. I'm going to be... the food's going to go bad before I get through all of it. There's so many fucking leftovers.
You're
oh my
working
God.
on it.
And the straightest thing about me this week is how straight my teeth are going to be.
Oh.
Because I'm starting Invisalign-like stuff. It's called Impress is the name of the brand. But I got my first 4 trays for putting my teeth into to straighten them out.
Oh, Impress, if you want to sponsor us, hit us up.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We have a listener's Gayest to Straightest this week that was sent to us in our email as an attachment. Just so you know, that's totally allowed, y'all. Or you can leave a voicemail. So this is from Ben. Ben is in the Netherlands. Here we go.
Hi Kyle. Hi Mike. I'm Ben from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for your work every week. I'm a fan. I love your dedication and love your approach to help people and shed some inclusive light on sometimes complex issues. After the episode about circuit parties, I found myself in a gay club in Amsterdam, which leads me to my Gayest and Straightest, and I just have to tell you. So, my straightest was to be talking with 4 dads in a nightclub on Saturday night, talking about how old our kids are and until what age we need a babysitter. The gayest was that I fucked 2 of them on the balcony in that club later that night. I just love being a gay dad. Best of both worlds. Thanks, guys. Bye.
I love how quickly that escalated.
I know, right? Well, first it was dads, and then I thought it was daddies, but it was actual dads, but then he got to fuck them, so it just it took me on a roller coaster ride.
It was a journey. Oh,
Yeah.
like your butt.
Like my butt. Roller coaster ride. That was in the Patreon segment. But
Was it?
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it.
That's a special thank you to Mary Peppa Nicolaou.
Yes. Man, I still can't believe every day.
Every day for 21 years.
Jesus. Ouch.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, and thank you to all the doctors who have not come to a consensus yet on what we do about them.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
How about our super pep bridgers?
Oh, oh no, I hate it. Thank you to our Super Cat Bridgers, Kaylee Adam, Kit, Oliver, Andrew, Bugby, William Bryant, John Carley, Stephen Porch, Yost Osel, Harry Shaw, Jonathan Montañez, Wadu Forrest, Neil Patrick Martin, James Barrows, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Just Jamie, Kevin Henderson, Thomas B., Timothy Sora, Dusty Sands, A.E. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
Be you.
Be you.
Be safe.
Be horny. How'd that episode go?
It was fine.
Yeah.